From prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to Creature Guy Live. We will be diving into how Allosaurus has been depicted over the years. Some I will do quickly, others I will give a more in depth description of. So let's get started with Allosaurus. So, this is a depiction of what Allosaurus would have been portrayed as during the 1870s. Allosaurus was discovered back in 1869 by Ferdinand Hayden near Granby, Colorado.
Why does it look like he has fur?
Um, I wouldn't notice that. I was just would have thought that they were distinct types of scales.
No, I was
Um,
looking at his head.
yeah, or he has some sort of disease. But, no, besides that, for back then, this was a pretty good depiction of Allosaurus. This was how, T-Rex would be portrayed later on, as well as the earlier, um, species of theropod Megalosaurus would have been depicted. But the problem is with this individual, it's simply too thick when it comes to the head, or too just roundish and robust. It should be much longer and slender. The teeth, what's interesting is that this is when they were giving theropod dinosaurs lips at this point. And all of a sudden, during the 20th century, especially the second half, they took the lips away for the most part, which was interesting. The arms are a little too robust compared to its body size. And then when it comes to the thigh as well as the calf area, it's a little out of proportion.
He looks a little straight-legged too.
Yeah, and he also has cankles. I think that's what you call them. Um, and he should have a more horizontal sort of stance. So let's go to the next one. Oh, okay. This is probably something from the 1950s or 60s. So here we have an Allosaurus and then a predator contemporary Ceratosaurus in the background. Okay. The Ceratosaurus is a bit better when it comes to the shape of its skull. But it's still, I'd say the bottom jaw is a little out of proportion. The horn on top of its skull is a little too large, but let's focus on Allosaurus. So, let's see. We still have it where he's standing in a vertical stance. You have it where he's breaking his back in this instance.
I know I'm breaking it again, but what's with the big feet?
Oh, well, the interesting thing is whoever drew this gave this Allosaurus a T Rex foot. That literally looks exactly like the foot that you would give a T Rex. Whereas Allosaurus, it would be much thinner and slender, um, possibly a bit longer compared to their body size. So their arms, in this instance, it's a bit too thin and not enough muscle. It's almost like they gave him a fat humerus area or his upper arm bone, and then also a bit of a fat forearm. Now the legs, it's yeah, the whole thing. This is almost like a T Rex sort of leg.
I was actually thinking a piece of chicken
Well, it's a huge
or a
thigh
frog
bone.
leg.
I wouldn't say a frog leg. Frogs have very, very thin legs compared to even their body size. So now the tail, it's still a bit too thick. I'd say the most accurate area is probably the core of its body, despite the way that it's standing. The neck is also a little out of proportion, especially along the back of the neck region compared to its head. And its head is too robust and should be much longer and narrow. The horn-like structure seems like they're giving it four, which even Ceratosaurus didn't have this type of a structure. This should be towards like right behind the eye, if not along like the middle or the central part of the eye when constructed on top, depending on the Allosaurus species. So let's head to the next one. This one. Okay, so this is better, but it has really thin arms.
I'm sorry, but how can he see?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. So, Allosaurus did see to the side, a bit more than a modern day saltwater crocodile. It had much more peripheral vision compared to certain other species of theropods. but there so far there doesn't seem to be any evidence for some structure that would block its front field of vision. This is a characteristic that you see, however, with herbivores like Triceratops. It's very unique to them. Now, the horn structure, it's not bad in its overall reconstruction, but it should be towards like right behind the eye, if not right on top. And that goes for almost any species of allosaur. The nostril should probably be a bit more towards the tip of the snout. The head's much better compared to the recent comparisons. I'm guessing this is a drawing from like the 90s or early 2000s. Let's see, but still a bit robust. Anyway, oh, the feet. Hmm. They're better than the last one, but it still has a bit of a Tyrannosaurus sort of a look, or possibly even the larger Allosaurs later on, or members of Allosauroideae, such as the Carcharodontosaurs. Um, the tail is a little too short and too muscular for the Allosaurus.
Those feet don't look alike.
Well, I think also this toe is a bit long. Wasn't exactly short though. In real life, it did exist. Um, I think it's because it's just up in the air, but I think there should be a bit larger of a calf muscle. Now, the core is also far too small for the Allosaurus. This is a really skinny individual. It's like he has somewhat deltoids or shoulder muscles, and then the muscles over on his humerus and his ulna. It's the forearm bones are just far too thin, and then his claws are or his fingers are far too long compared to his body size. Now his claws, I don't think are too bad. I think they should be a bit longer. Allosaurus had decently long claws. So let's go to the next one. Oh, the teeth. The teeth should be a bit thinner. His tongue should not be in the air like that. And I don't believe the gum should be this far back in the mouth. This is not good. The neck is the best so far that I've seen in other reconstructions, at least that we've seen at the moment. Still, I would think slightly thin. Oh boy, here we go again. This looks like somebody took an Allosaurus, a possum, and a rat and decided to mush it together and then name him Remy. So this looks like an individual from probably the 1950s, maybe earlier, possibly the 40s.
It says 82 on there.
Okay, I mean it could be back in the 1980s. No, we had really good reconstructions at that point. We still had the horrific ones from beforehand, or somebody just I don't know if they hated the dinosaurs or they just wanted their own look and decided to keep it 1940s. So, anyway, this Allosaurus has a lot of problems, but what I like about it is that they gave it a muscular humerus area or the bicep. It's got biceps, triceps, it's got a deltoid, and the forearms. He's definitely been lifting Camptosaur hatchlings, but not enough to where he's considered like Popeye Allosaurus. But anyway, the fingers are a little small compared to his body size. Now, technically, the overall arms, um, you know what? I think they should probably add more muscle to the forearms. It's not bad. Anyway, the neck, I don't think it's bad for an Allosaurus, despite this individual. It's decently muscular. At the moment, I don't believe there's any evidence for Allosaurus having osteoderms running from the tip of its I guess the back of its snout or the nose region, nasal region, to the end of its tail. This is something you could probably find on certain species of sauropod dinosaurs, but not Allosaurus. The legs. Okay, it's this animal. I know I said possum and rat. Let's add a kangaroo onto there because he's walking on his ankles. Now, also bears, apes, or um, humans specifically, also walk on their ankles. So anyway, that's a problem, but also his feet or his toes are a little just too flat. They also gave him let's put a Spinosaurus into his genetics. This animal would work perfect for Jurassic World. Um, you gave him flat toes. So, um, gosh, this guy's a mutt. Okay, let's see. The tail is far too short. I mean, this is like where the rat and the possum come in handy, and that's bad. Anyway, let's get beyond that. The upper thigh, it's got a lot of muscle on it. I mean, I don't mind the texture, but hmm, that might be the most accurate part of the leg. Or, well, maybe I changed my mind on that because I think where the calf and the shin is, it seems for an Allosaurus to be in quite proportion, but it's like the thigh might be a little too large, and then the feet and the ankles, uh, they're horrible. Oh, okay, the head. This is really this. Okay, this looks more like the rat. Um, the teeth are far too exposed. He should be able to completely conceal his teeth, and the ears.
I just thought they were too white.
Um, oh yeah, wow, they are. Oh, he's probably a younger individual. Um, they're not worn down. But anyway, nostrils a little too small. They're like a small, just hole in the front. And then let's see the eyes. I think they're a little too forward facing. There aren't any like horn like structures on the top, so that's a problem. And then the ear. This tends to happen with different older reconstructions. If the whole specimen is out of um it's just out of touch, the ear will be in touch. I don't understand why. I suppose due to scale texture, I can't tell. Anyway, let's move on from Remy. Okay, this is better. I'm going to guess this could be
He looks like a
1980s.
dragon to me.
Yeah, he does. I wonder if somebody was basing him off of some sort of dragon. It's a bit better, especially with the horn structure, but probably be towards the top of his overall skull structure, not glancing off to the side unless he had just some odd genetic, which is very possible. The nostrils, not bad. I think the eyes pretty good. And they even show his anorbital fenestra hole in the front, or at least on the middle between the nostril and eye socket.
Why does it look like he hasn't slept in a while?
Oh yeah, wow. Looks like they might have given him some sort of eye rings. Interesting. His tongue. Yeah, that's where the dragon comes in. Partially. That wouldn't have occurred. The teeth. Um, they're too aligned with the lip. There really should be a lip, and then there are the gums. This is like the teeth are attached to the lip, so that wouldn't have occurred. I don't mind the neck structure, but it still doesn't look like it would be well aligned with an Allosaurus. I think there might have been some more flesh to it. I don't mind the scale structure, but it probably would have been much smoother. I haven't mentioned before that different dinosaurs had this type of a scale structure, which is true. But Allosaurus would be a bit smoother. Let's see. Looking at the arms, they should not be um, facing forwards, instead towards each other. But looking at their overall reconstruction, I think they're a bit thin. They really do seem a bit too skinny. But the fingers,
His arms look like he's doing Muay Thai years ago.
oh yeah, he does. Uh, oh yeah, he's trying to block the opponent, but um, he's an Allosaurus. They're not. His arms aren't that long. But the claws and the fingers, they're not bad. Maybe the fingers are a little small, but Allosaurus had quite long claws compared to the finger size. I do like the overall vein and just this sort of muscular structure under here. I really like that. So far it's the best that we've seen. So let's keep going from Tom. Okay. This is decent. So when looking at this Allosaurus, they gave him you can't really recognize the musculature, but it does seem like it's there, or he's just a puffy Allosaurus. The arms just seem rather okay. They gave him quite long or thick fingers or just puffy, which might be okay. Here you can have it where the thigh is much more aligned with like the shin area and then the ankles. Problem is,
He doesn't look as out of proportion right there.
no, but where's his calf? It's like he has a calf sticking out to the side and
No, his
there's his
foot's facing towards us. Look at the other leg.
yeah, true. Okay, he's somewhat turning. It's a good looking tail. It's a much slender sort of a look. I like the striped coloration at the end. It's a decent, just overall core for an Allosaurus. And the neck structure, still rather muscular, but seems well aligned. Now, the Allosaurus front, it's sometimes really complicated to figure out how much robustness you want to give an Allosaurus because sometimes you want to make it a bit more slender and sometimes you want to make it much more broad. It's not bad. I think the crest though should be faced towards right on top of the eyes, but and maybe the nostril a little longer. And he has lips. That's good. And I also like the veiny structure around here. In fact, all the way towards the back of his tail. I like that. Um.
Is it just me or are they giving it scales?
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, I wasn't noticing that. Almost like alligator-like scales. So this looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll leave him. Head to the next one. Okay, so we have possibly arrived some point. This looks like a drawing from the 1990s. And here we have an Allosaurus. So this seems to be at some point back in maybe Colorado around 150 million years ago, which is when Allosaurus existed, specifically Allosaurus fragilis. This is probably who would this be? I don't think this is Diplodocus. It's not a Brachiosaurus, not Camarasaurus, the sauropod. Could it be somebody like Seismosaurus? Not sure. That's like 120-foot to 130-foot long sauropod. And then here we have a Stegosaurus in the background. I will say the forest over here would not have existed. These types of conifers hadn't evolved yet. They would be much different species of trees, more suited for a warmer climate. These smaller pterosaurs seem to be relatives to pterodactyl, but let's get to Allosaurus. So, like the other painting, a bit further back, the teeth are aligned with its lips and not specifically the gum, so that's a bit off. Their skull overall seems a bit short in length, but this individual looks like somebody took a Bellysaurus and possibly a Torvosaurus and a bit of an Allosaurus and mushed it together, and here's what you got. But I don't know. He is still quite long arms, but they're skinny. I mean, this is not good. Yeah, what's with that? Give him massive deltoid or shoulder muscle, and then just give him twigs. And interesting though, the fingers. No, they're pretty skinny over here. I mean, from a distance, they look much thicker. Anyway, the claws aren't
It
terrible.
made his skin look like he's an elephant.
Yeah. Oh yeah, interesting. Especially like an Asian elephant. I don't mind the overall coloration, but that might be the best part. Actually, the horns aren't terrible, but they should be towards like slightly behind the eye.
Wait, they gave him scales on his face.
Yeah, that's interesting. Roundish scale is here, and then elephant pattern.
On his jaws.
Well, except his arms. His arms have it too. Yeah, around his arms as well. The interesting thing is the tongues are down with these individuals. There's something accurate. I'm not sure about this gum line over here. Like I said, nostrils a bit small. Oh, the tail. Tail's a bit too thin. The legs, they're not bad. I still think there should be maybe a bit more muscle somewhere, maybe towards the front of the shin or and slightly longer toes. And I think the neck's not necessarily terrible, but it becomes a bit small right towards the back. The core is actually okay. Besides that, let's keep going. So let's see. Here we have a Allosaurus. So was this done like 2020? Well, it's not bad. You have it where the horns over here. There have been different reconstructions of Allosaurus where they're towards the front of the skull, but most, at least the skulls that we have found, they tend to be like right at the central part of the eye or slightly behind it. At least that I've seen. But besides that, nostril maybe slightly longer, but it's not bad. Ear is well placed. The teeth, I can't tell if they're aligned with the lip or the gum. This also, I think, was right before they brought back the theory that dinosaurs had lips. So
No, look.
Yeah, it looks like they're in the gum.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's good. The overall proportion, I think this is a bit of a thin individual. Maybe it's supposed to be a younger specimen, or he hasn't had any Stegosaurus steaks in a while. So he might be just a bit thin. The arms, though, he's relatively muscular. I mean, this is a well proportioned muscle arm, as well as the fingers. They look good. He even gave it in a distinct thumb claw shape. So that's good to see. I didn't see that characteristic with, at least that I remember, with any of the other specimens.
What's with the osteoderms?
Oh, I might have seen this with certain other allosaurs, but it's not too common. This is something that you tend to see with different species of sauropod from the early Cretaceous period. You could say a little bit of like 10 to no, into like especially the whole Cretaceous period. You could see this with different species of armored saltosaurs. Okay, the tail's a bit thin, but if this is a younger individual or he's just a bit hungry, it would be okay. And same thing for his feet. Um, yeah, I think they look decent for a thin individual, and I like how he gave it a somewhat like emu or ostrich sort of scaly representation over on his toes. So let's go to the next one. Okay. Well, with a thinner individual, he's not bad. He has relatively decent musculature along his neck, even the upper area. The ears well placed. Give him a rather large nostril. I don't know what to say about that. And the teeth seem decently aligned. Not too much of them are exposed. You wouldn't have it where the entire tooth is exposed, either else the root would just fall off with not much to conceal it. And the eye is well placed. This animal clearly has peripheral vision. And the crest, they're putting it towards the front. So maybe it's based on a certain specimen, but overall, it looks quite decent. Just maybe, just a thinner individual, except the gum. I really wonder about that.
He's also scaled on his face, but not on his body.
It seems to be. Oh, okay, right over here. Yeah, you don't see that as much later on. You like the veiny structure. Yeah, it's not bad. Anyway, let's keep going. Oh boy. These representations. Okay. So at first glance, this looks a bit like a Dilophosaurus, especially this individual. This was not sure whoever's making this, they just said, I'll make him a mutt. So this Dilophosaurus, Allosaurus mix. He's probably the closest to an Allosaurus. This is a Monolophosaurus that wanted to be an Allosaurus. Anyway, so yeah, with looking at this creature, his bottom jaw is not properly aligned with his upper jaw. His crests are completely out of place. I'm not sure
But he
what.
does have lips.
Yeah, I think it does. The teeth aren't too much exposed, so that's good to see. The neck is he is turning his head, but it's still a bit too thin. The arms are too skinny as well. The fingers, though, they seem to be somewhat decently proportioned. The claws aren't bad. The legs, at least by what I can tell, they don't seem bad either for an Allosaurus.
They're also pointing at each other.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're not pronated, so that's good to see. And the core, it's not terrible for an Allosaurus. Somewhat, I think he gave him a bit of a walking with dinosaur sort of coloration, which I mean, I like it. I think it's a very unique look. The tail is a bit too skinny. There is also no evidence for feathers on Allosaurus, at least from the skin that we have found. Let's see. Everybody else, trying to think. His bottom jaw seems to be the most aligned, and then these two not so much. Eyes seem to be okay. Clearly they have more of side view.
Hold on, I see something that's kind of off. Oh, nope. Yep, right here.
Oh, okay. Well, nope. At least that one doesn't have any lips. He has it where his upper teeth are exposed. Okay. Well, let's go to the next one. Whoa. Okay. This. Uh, hmm. This was like somebody took a later species of coelophysid, and I wouldn't say mixed it with an allosaur. Probably mixed it with some early Cretaceous. No, probably Metracanthosaur, which is a member of Allosauroideae. But Allosaurus is specifically, it also is a member of Allosauroideae, but specifically Allosauridae. Metracanthosaurs are a different lineage. Anyway, he's a mutt. I okay. If this was an Allosaurus, I think the teeth are somewhat aligned on the gums, but a bit too much of it is exposed, oddly arranged as well. Look like icicles instead of actual teeth. I don't like. I actually like that tongue. I really like how it's textured. It's kind of like with what you would see on the Walking with Dinosaurs animatronics, and they put a lot of detail into their tongue. It's like he was just eating stuff, and that looks pretty good. Actually, from that look, you would think it's an
Yeah,
animatronic.
he put a lot of work into that tongue.
Yeah, I really like that. Even the gum region, that looks really good. Now, overall, here's the thing: the skin representation, I actually like it. It's just the overall reconstruction of the animal, and saying it's an Allosaurus, it's quite shocking. So, the eye, I don't mind the eyeball look. I think it looks great, but for an Allosaurus, it should be protected by tissue, and it's not. So let's see. I guess the nostrils okay.
I just keep thinking, how can this thing see in front of itself?
Oh yeah, they keep putting that up. I don't believe there's any evidence for something blocking Allosaurus. Anyway, when looking at the neck, it's a bit thin compared to its body size. I don't mind the like a veiny and somewhat muscular look, but still too thin. The rest of the animal, I don't mind the overall skin
Are
texture.
you noticing like an indention
Where
right where you have the cursor?
oh whoa, okay, he might be a bit thin. Um, okay, well, oh, there's his ear. I think. Let's head to the next one. Interesting though. Well, that was a jump. Okay, so this is probably from the I think this is one of those odd 1970s Allosaurus reconstructions because looking at this looks like an ornithomimid, but I think ornithomimids really hadn't evolved at this point. So this is another species of either theropod or unknown ornithischian, at least to me. We can't tell who this is, not showing the face. So this Allosaurus now maybe it's some relative of Camptosaurus. No, it could be. Could be a species of ornithischian like Dryosaurus or maybe some early Heterodontosaur. Hmm. Anyway, Allosaurus. Okay. It's like they gave him a bit of an Abelisaur, sort of a skull, and his arms are a little. I think they're too high up on the overall core of its upper body and probably should be a little lower. They just seem out of proportion. Doesn't have its distinct thumb claw really either, unless no, they're about the same. The teeth are also not very allosaur like. The eyes are completely off. There isn't any horn like structure. The ear is placed right. The tail, I really don't think it's bad for an Allosaurus. It's just the way he's standing. He shouldn't be upright like this. And they gave him the ability to walk with his fourth toe, which that wouldn't be occurring. A bit too thin of a leg here. Should have a slightly more muscular ankle and more pronounced calves. I mean, you could see it over here, but anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so this is definitely better. So here we have another species of stegosaur, like related to Kentrosaurus and Toyungasaurus, fighting off another species of Allosaur. Now, this Allosaur isn't bad. Okay. I think the toes or just the overall, yeah, the toes specifically might be a little too thick. Seem to give it more of like a Carcharodontosaur, Giganotosaur sort of a look. The arms seem to be far too small. This is pushing like the size of certain species of tyrannosaur, the smaller tyrannosaurs when compared to their body size. The teeth should not be on the exterior of the mouth, unless the stegosaur in this instance was supposed to have sliced off his whole lip, which is possible depending on how serrated they are.
There's something happening because look off the side of his face.
Yeah, he though it looks like the stegosaur might have severed some skin here, but who knows? Or those are teeth. He definitely would have taken off some flesh though. Um, yeah, a bit too thin of a tail. It's probably a younger individual. Hmm. The skull's okay, but it's a bit too long, which is odd. Most of the other Allosaurs that we've seen, they're either too broad or they're too skinny, but not necessarily too long. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Um, okay, so this, okay,
I
this,
just thought the blue guy was funny.
well, whoever this is, I don't know if he existed. We have not found him in the fossil record. He seems to have like minotaur or whatever those mythical creatures are feet. I don't know much about them. Anyway, focusing on him, the leg is I can't really tell. Judging by the calf over here, I think it's a bit too thick. The toes, they're right next to each other. They might be okay. The arms, it doesn't have a pronounced, distinct thumb claw, though when looking at the arms, maybe I think they should be a bit longer or slightly more slender. He just has two puffy forearms, way too thick of a neck for an Allosaurus. And then the
Maybe he's just having an allergic reaction to the blue guy.
well, yeah, it probably is true. The tail doesn't seem to be bad. The core probably a bit smaller for an Allosaurus, and the overall skull structure. The problem is they're giving him two. They gave him Deinonychus teeth. These are the teeth that you should see on certain types of raptors. Well, okay, it's like a mixture of Deinonychus and a shark. If you look at those bottom teeth, that's not something you would really see on any species of theropod. So this animal is half megalodon. Okay. Um. Okay. This Allosaurus. So they gave him the Walking with Dinosaurs, a 1999 series skin texture, but everything else off. Too thin of a tail. The legs, toes are too short, and it's just too stiff of a structure. I guess the ankles aren't bad, but still a bit off. Too big of a thigh. The core, it seems to be like it's smothered into the rib cages are smothering into each other. Let's see. The arms, there should be more musculature on the forearms and even the fingers. Doesn't have a pronounced distinct thumb claw. The shoulder seems to not be bad. Bicep, tricep seem a little small. Too thin of a neck. The teeth are completely out of proportion. I think he has too thick of a tongue. The crests are a little too long. Anyway, let's head to the next one. And by the way, let's see. Uh, okay, where is he? Oh, so we have two ceratosaurs, I think. I don't know. That one looks like could be an Allosaurus. That looks like an Allosaurus. He doesn't seem to have that third horn that Ceratosaurus have, so he might be an Allosaurus. And this is just an aggressive Ceratosaurus. Ceratosaurus was for some time portrayed as like this, inferior sort of predator, which in some instances it is. And then in other cases, it could put up a fight with an Allosaurus. Now, up against three, these are probably younger Allosaurs. Anyway, the Allosaurus, let's see, looking at them, these guys are immense when it comes to their neck structure. This is huge. The skull structure, I don't mind the overall look that they gave it, but it's a bit too pronounced of a crest on the front. Should really just be the horn structures. And there's no evidence for the feathers showing up. The arms are also far too thick. And like this guy, he seems a bit better. He's almost got a raptor sort of a look though. Let's see. The huge calves. This guy never missed cab day. When he's um, anyway,
I don't think that guy's ever missed a meal.
yeah, that too. He's quite you know rectangularish rectangularish round. I don't know how to describe it. He's wide. So it is very possible that these animals were cannibals, and it looks like they're feeding on an Allosaurus. So yeah, that's typical Jurassic behavior. Okay, this right here is not AI. This was made by Gabriel and took over a few weeks of work. And this is supposed to represent an Allosaurus. And it looks pretty good. This besides maybe the horn structure on the top of its skull being possibly further back around the eye region. For a younger Allosaurus, this looks pretty good. Decently proportioned neck muscle, well aligned with the back. The skin texture, the scales look very nice. Yeah, a lot of skin texture. The way the sun's hitting the gum on the upper jaw, as well as even
Are
the
the
bottom
teeth
jaw.
too small, or are they just hidden by the lips?
No, they're just really hidden by the lips, and not much of dinosaur teeth would have truly been exposed by their gums. I mean, older reconstructions, I'd say for certain parts of the 20th century, showed massive amounts of their teeth when that would be quite risky for them. So, the nostril seems well proportioned, the
He
eye
did
socket.
scale the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Like there's a lot of scale impressions. Also, the overall musculature and the vein sort of look, it looks really good. And yeah, you could definitely see an Allosaurus. They were capable of swimming somewhere in like some lake over in Jurassic Colorado or Utah. There have been somewhere around 67 Allosaurus specimens that have been discovered. So, um, when let's see. Anyway, let's head over to the next one. So, okay. Whoa. Okay, this this guy's got a problem. What's interesting is he looks a bit more like a Torvosaurus, and not so much an Allosaurus. Um, his teeth are far too exposed. I mean, here you're starting to approach just too much of an area for the tooth. The head crests or horns. This was like somebody just stuck a piece of like they took a Clovis point and then painted it and decided to just stick it on the Allosaurus.
Again, though, how does he see in front of himself?
Um, yeah, okay, he's got a bit of an odd area there. Sometimes I think people would just add this for a characteristic of the dinosaurs, but this reconstruction, or these statues, I think it's one of those statues you see at like certain zoo or outdoor museum things.
They
Um,
just want to make him look vicious.
yeah, but he's like a goofy vicious. He just tried too hard to look intimidating. Bit too thin of a neck structure. For a Torvosaurus, I would say take the horns off. He's really not a bad overall look. But an Allosaurus, not so much. Anyway, let's keep going. Hmm. Okay. Well, he's not overall bad, but he has some problems. I think the toes are a bit too short compared to its body size. I think the arms are a bit too skinny. He does have a distinct thumb claw. That's good to see. And even slightly shorter, well, much shorter uh, index finger and then a much shorter middle finger. So it's good to see. Let's see. His neck and skull structure, they're not bad. Really should just be a distinct horn on the top of his skull. You could possibly have where he has
This is a
some.
this was done with watercolors, though. So
Oh, that wasn't hitting me. Okay, well, it's definitely a good painting, but just when it comes to just accuracy, it's really just these things. The tail's not bad. I think there should be a bit more of size to the core, and then the teeth are well aligned. He's obviously making it where it can have lips. So it's good to see. Bit of a thick tongue.
and its tongue's not up in the air,
Yeah. Oh, that nostril. That's a good looking nostril right there. I think there's his ear, and yeah, decently muscular neck.
and his vision isn't being blocked.
Nope. Yeah, you can clearly see. Okay, let's keep going. Whoa. I wonder if this is a toy. Anyway, okay. I'd say the calf is probably close to one of the most accurate parts of this creature. The horns are a little too large. The skull is too long. Let's see. The eye should be higher up on the skull. The arms are far too long and skinny as well. I mean, you could say they gave him some musculature around the deltoid, bicep region, but that's about it. His fingers are just out of proportion, and the fingers are also the finger claws are way too short. He also has too short of toes as well. Let's see. You should even have it where he has different lengths for his toe claws. They're not the same size. His tail is it's like it's I'm not sure if it's too thick or the moment you leave like the front of it, it's I guess the back part, it becomes too thin. And so far no evidence for these types of osteoderms along his back. So let's go to the next one. Huh. Okay. His arms aren't bad. Um is this watercolor too? Just the background looks like it's definitely a painting.
It's not watercolor.
Hmm. He is a bit too
I think it's an oil painting, actually.
oh. Well, I mean, for an oil painting, it definitely looks good. It's just when it comes to the body structure, um, the skull should definitely be a lot longer. And then, let's see, the horns they're not bad. I mean, I'd say for an Allosaurus, I think the problem is his overall just skull structure. The nostril is actually pretty good. The eye is decent.
And it's not being blocked.
Yep, yeah, I can clearly see. The tongue is down. The teeth, I think they should be slightly less exposed, but it's not bad. Hmm. I don't think he has an ear though. Oh well. Let's see the where that is here. That's huge. Oh wait, I think I might have seen it. No, I was thinking right here. That's a huge ear. Anyway, let's see the neck. Hmm. It's too long. I mean, Allosaurus did have a somewhat long neck for theropods, but it just seems a little overstretched. Let's see. A distinguished thumb claw as well as an index and a middle finger claw. Those look good, but I don't know. Maybe it's just that the muscles a bit more concealed, but I would think you could still see the definition. It's not like he has a bunch of fat on top of it, or naturally. The toes are a little. This looks like you're staring at a hawk or a falcon's toes. Yeah, they should be much thicker. Now, the overall leg proportion, I don't think it looks bad. Um, I think the head's just throwing me off. Bit of the neck, the tail, I think is it's not too far from a general Allosaurus. Maybe a little more muscle, especially as you travel further along the tail. Now, the core of the body does seem a bit thin. I think he should have more flesh on it. Let's head to the next one. Well. This is interesting.
It's a puppysaurus.
Yeah. Oh, it's Allosaurus as well as practically every theropod and even other species of dinosaurs. Sauropods could probably do this as well. Could sit. Um. So let's see. They'd be just sitting on their pelvis bone. And overall, looking at this cheerful individual, he
I didn't even realize that until you said it.
yeah he has lips. That's good to see. Very good nostril. Yeah, good horn structure, at least up here. I just gave him a little rigid area. And I'm not sure if he's being blocked when it comes to his eyesight. Oh yeah, the scales and yeah, an ear in the back that looks good. His overall, just from this view of the Allosaurus, I think it looks good. Now the problem is these distinct scales. I don't doesn't look like Allosaurus would have had this. It's a good musculature around his throat region. You could say it almost give him like an iguana sort of a look, which Allosaurus did somewhat used to be portrayed like that. Or maybe I'm thinking of Iguanodon, but it still looks good. He just never missed neck day. And then you have the core of his body that looks good. The arms, he definitely large. Oh, that's interesting. They gave him those little round osteoderms. Hmm. So far, it doesn't look like Allosaurus would have had that. The arms aren't bad. They okay. Uh okay, I can notice they're slightly different sizes, but I think they would have been, especially this club, would be much more pronounced. The arms, they have muscle, but they look like it's just a bit puffy and not like really defined.
I can't believe someone sketched this though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a good drawing. I think the toes might be well, okay, he's digging into the dirt. It's really hard to tell. Oh, they're not bad by what we can see. Like the scale structure. Oh yeah, the fourth
Well, he
toe.
has the claws worn down also on the feet.
I just thought they were embedded into the dirt.
No, look. No, look right here.
Oh, well, that's interesting. No, they would be curved, huh? So somebody clipped his toes right beforehand.
Well, he just wore them down.
Yeah, it's very possible. He had rocky areas, and this was before the rock. Despite me saying that, it was before the Rocky Mountains appeared. They
Wait,
wouldn't.
wait, wait. What year is this?
I have no idea. Oh, 2019.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it looks. Besides that, it looks good. Decent scale structure. Um, maybe a bit too thin of an area right here before the ankle. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Whoa. Okay. Allosaurus was probably not jumping on sauropods. There were certain species of theropods, over 800 pounds that probably could, but not Allosaurus. Allosaurus could reach over 30 feet in length, around 9 meters, and weigh up to 3 tons. And, you have Allosaurus hemadense, Allosaurus europus, and then Allosaurus fragilis. Allosaurus fragilis being from North America. And this animal, I think he's supposed to be attacking Diplodocus, so it's like a different version of the Walking with Dinosaurs incident. Now, could he inflict this type of damage? Yes. I just don't think he would be jumping. Now, Diplodocus, the animal that he's fighting, not sure if this is a full grown individual, but a large one could reach over 85 feet in length, probably weighs somewhere between 15 to 20 tons. So, let's see. Looking at the Allosaurus, his face isn't overall bad. I think too much of the teeth are exposed. His tongue shouldn't be pointing up like that. He wouldn't be facing the Diplodocus's skull or face in this instance. He would be focused on just biting off a chunk of flesh quickly before getting smushed in the process. So let's see. His toes aren't overall bad. Even the Diplodocus doesn't look bad actually. It's got the distinct thumb claw. The back feet look a little stubby, at least with the toes. Now, the overall musculature of this Allosaurus, this looks like something was like 80s, maybe late 80s. It's not bad.
Well, I
Um,
was trying to figure out if this is computer generated or if it's
oh,
an actual drawing.
I think it's a drawing.
Well, I was looking for a signature, but the whole picture isn't here. So,
Hmm. Well, yeah, the arms, I think they're well proportioned. You see his tricep, slightly, maybe not. Definitely his bicep, deltoid. His forearm, probably put a bit more muscle, but besides that, it's okay. And then distinct, thumb claw, index, middle finger. Let's see who else.
blocking his vision.
He doesn't have an ear. Oh well. Oh yeah, there's that distinct characteristic. Tail maybe could have had slightly more muscle, but I mean, besides that, maybe he's just a thinner individual. And the other one, I mean, well pronounced calves. Yeah, these aren't bad. Okay, next one. Whoa, okay, so we just stepped back in time. This could be like 1960s or 70s. This Allosaurus looks like someone took a 1940s or 50s T Rex, stuck it on Allosaurus, and then gave him what on earth? These arms and those fingers, unless his claws are supposed to be embedded in the Brontosaurus victim.
All I can look at is his feet and that head.
Yeah, his feet are off too. Any dinosaur, no theropod would have had these this type of feet or ankles. These are huge ankles. Okay, yeah. Well, his ears placed decently. His tail is quite off. It's it's not exactly well proportioned for an Allosaurus, and it just becomes this warped reconstruction. The arms are far too skinny, the neck's out of proportion, and the skull. It almost
It looks like a fat face.
yeah, almost like a duckbill dinosaur to an extent too. Teeth are far too close to each other. This look like yeah, like a hadrosaur. Okay. Um. Also, unless this brontosaurus was completely just had no energy whatsoever, you wouldn't see an Allosaurus doing this. Um. Okay. Um. All right. Next one. Okay. So the next. Let's see. What do we have? So it seems to be they're like chasing an Apatosaurus or some Diplodocus. Now the Allosaurus here definitely look better, but let's see. Yeah, the skull though it looks like the representation for some later species of Carcharodontosaur, or technically another species of Allosaur. Not so much Allosaurus. It's a bit too thin. I think
Okay,
the
I thought that was just me.
yeah, especially like the upper or bottom part of the jaw. I think the teeth might be too closely aligned with each other. Mind the
But
overall,
they're in lips, aren't
coloration.
they?
And what?
The teeth. They're inside the lips.
I think so. It's really hard to tell. He definitely has too many teeth alongside each other.
Is that neck crazy long or is it just me?
Yeah, I think it is a bit long as well. The arms are also a bit too skinny. I think too long of fingers. They don't really have the distinct length for their claws. Let's see, the calves, they're okay. I can't really tell when it comes to the thighs, except the one back here.
Yeah, but you always point out the fact before that the hands were never facing each other,
Oh,
and
right.
we're getting a lot of them that are facing each other.
Yeah, that's good to see. They are facing each other. The tail I think might be slightly too thin. The eye, I don't know why, but it seems a bit off. He's turning his head.
I
The
think
tongue
it's
should also not be
huge,
sticking out.
and I think it's facing forwards.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, well, let's go to the next one. Hmm. Okay. Well, this is interesting.
Furry.
Yeah, he does have feathers. So far, there's no evidence for Allosaurus having feathers. Any large Jurassic theropods, Cretaceous, Triassic. But besides that, I think his arms are a little too just there. What I mean by that is it looks like they don't really have much area for movement. They just look stiff.
I do like though how the outer arm, inner arm, this one,
Yeah.
you can see the claw inside there.
Oh, yeah, you can. There isn't much of a difference between their length or just overall look. Maybe slightly, but not where you see that distinct thumb claw. Guessing these are all of its chicks. Yeah, sword chicks don't look bad. And we haven't found any young Allosaur chicks at the moment. So let's see. I think the nostril is a little too roundish, but the overall skull looks good. I mean, the um, crest horns, the eye socket, and even the front seems decent. The neck structure seems well aligned with this individual.
I actually like that his mouth is closed.
Oh yeah, yeah, his lips too. Yeah, it's good to see those. The overall proportion outside of the arms, I think the toes should be a bit longer. One of its claws seems to be curved. Um. Anyway, everything else seems to be decent. Okay, so this next one, let's see. He is a bit off. I think it's just a bit of an ugly Allosaurus skull. Let's see. Too much of the teeth are exposed. The tongue shouldn't be up in the air like that. Uh, Ears decently proportioned, and then the horns they seem to be okay.
He's missing something though.
Um, let's see. Oh, lips.
No, scales.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They didn't really give him anything. Yeah, this is too soft.
Wait, they're also giving him a what's that called?
Oh, an extended vertebrae. Yeah. This is something you would see on later species of Allosaur, but not really Allosaurus. Besides that, too thin of a tail, too long of a thigh compared to his shin bone and then his ankles. It's like there's a little ankle and just his toes. Far too skinny of arms. The claws actually seem to be okay though, but besides that, yeah, it's not great. Okay, well, he was better than this. Um, okay, so this is an Allosaurus. Yeah, it is. Wow. Okay, I'm guessing this could be 1950s, maybe earlier. This looks like Godzilla. He just got an extended head. Earlier Godzilla too. Anyway, yeah, there shouldn't be these extra osteoderms running along its body. Let's see. Okay, okay. So when looking at the toes, they're too long and too thin compared to its body size. Too short of toenails. The arms are too short and stubby, and they shouldn't be pointing towards its behind, as well as like too short of claws. Too thick of a neck compared to this. Um, I don't know what you would call it, Yoda. Um, this is bad. Let's just keep going. Oh no. Well, okay. So this is from the Lost World 1925 movie. And this is how they were portraying Allosaurus at
He has
around the time.
scales.
Yeah, he does. The teeth are far too thick. These almost look like slightly more slender shark teeth. You can even say, so you can even say certain ancient toothed whale teeth that coexisted with Megalodon. The arms, I mean, they're giving it some muscle, but they're not great. The toes, yeah, they're a bit off. I guess the toenails or two toe claws seem to be okay. There's not really much of a definition with the overall legs in this instance. I mean, it's a very unique look for this movie's Allosaur, but it's just too skinny and standing upright of an animal. Oh, let's keep going. Also, it's got too roundish of a head. And then there's you. Okay, so I'm not sure. This might be 1950s or 60s as well. Too roundish of a head. Let's see, the ears okay. Four, two sets of crests that shouldn't be there. And
But
then
again, what are they giving him?
um
Scales.
oh, yeah, they are. Hmm. Yeah, they look okay. You shouldn't have a tail dragging on the ground. The toe length is okay. The problem is everything else. It's like the ankle's not far enough off the ground. There's not really a defined calf. The thigh, I think if you just correctly position this animal, the thigh might be okay. The core is just off and too skinny of arms, and it looks like they gave him a fourth finger, at least from this angle. Let's keep going. Oh boy. Okay. So this Allosaurus, let's see. I think the core might be okay though, but too thick of a thigh compared to his non-defined calf area. Really short ankle, and then whatever his toes look like. Let's see, his arms, they have a bit of muscle on them. They should be pronated like this. They should be just facing each other. And let's see, I think this is Camarasaurus.
Why does his head remind me of a turtle?
I was going to say one of those that like dinosaur show from like the 80s or something with those fat animatronics. Anyway, um, yeah, it does look like a turtle, but it's just extremely long, exposed teeth that shouldn't be there. A very roundish skull. The ear is positioned right. The horns, these aren't horns. This is like something you would see more of on like a T-Rex. Nostrils okay. And too stubby of a tail. So let's move forward. These look like an older representation of T-Rex. In fact, this was actually I've seen this, except it was eating like a carcass. I remember before, I don't remember what it reminded me of. It's like either cake or some really good like piece of pizza without the bread. Anyway, it's from some 1950s book. And so apparently, maybe it's the same artist, and he just put it here as well, except it has a pack with it. And it was supposed to represent, I think, Allosaurus. He's stuck here with the family because we have found um fossil sites where there are several Allosaurus with bite marks on the sauropod bones that they were feeding on, as well as Allosaurus shed teeth with younger Allosaurus individuals as well, possibly, probably indicating that there was a pack of them. It wasn't just
I
strangers.
still don't understand how do they get killed like that?
The sauropod, yeah,
No,
this
not the sauropod. How does the whole group get killed like that? Like,
mm,
where they're feasting on something
oh, no, no,
and
no, it was just, there was leftover shed teeth. There weren't really, any Allosaurus skeletons. But there was, just several bite marks on the Camarasaurus bones. I don't know who this is supposed to be, but he shouldn't have all of these toes for the sauropod or on his hind feet. Okay, so the Allosaurus itself, too roundish, and it's like a roundish but thin sort of a skull structure. Still wouldn't have been realistic. Eyes are off, the horns are off. Let's see, the arms far too skinny. I think a bit too high up on the body as well. Extremely thick thighs, and then like a stubby shin. Ankles don't exist, and then there's the toes with the kind of short toe claws. And then there's her child, who's obviously has an oddly positioned core and too thin of a tail as well. Let's keep going. Okay, so this Allosaurus definitely looks better. Um, yeah, it seems to be well proportioned. I think the toes might be a little short.
did someone
Something.
do this with crayon?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a good drawing. It's just that I think the ankles are a bit off the shin. But besides that, I think the tail could probably use some more muscle. Good looking thigh. I think the calf over here is decent. Arms. These look like good arms. You definitely gave him yeah, distinct. I think the deltoids are over here. And he definitely give him bicep and kind of out of proportion with the form. The claw toes or the finger claws, they look good. The neck is well proportioned. I think it should have a slightly larger skull compared to its body size. Um,
Vision block.
yeah, true. Not a bad horn though. Nostrils well in place. The ear, but the eye still looks good. Besides that, interesting. He gave him osteoderms here and nowhere else. I've seen that with other allosaurs. Besides that, the skull looks pretty good. Oh, okay. So interesting. Allosaurus 1920s, so this is around the Lost World time. And then Allosaurus 1959. I don't know if Allosaurus put in another movie, but in the Valley of Guanji, I think it's supposed to be a T Rex. Anyway, that's 60s. So there's definitely a progression of the Allosaurus here. So he kind of went from being skinny and sort of, well, I wouldn't say too skinny. I would just say,
Is it saying this is
yeah.
the same artist?
Yeah. It's just he just did representation from 1920 than what it would have looked like
Just 40
1951.
years apart.
Well, I think it was somebody recently, and he was just basing it off of drawings from back then.
Oh, okay.
But these still for like the time, yeah, they're obviously very off. Too roundish of a head, as well as here, too many teeth alongside each other, too roundish of a nostril, too thick of a neck, too thick of a neck here. I think his skin impression is better here. This he looks like not a turtle. Something
Alligator?
else. Maybe the bottom part of an alligator, but it's not hitting me what type of a lizard. Maybe a Gila monster. The arms, if you really look at it, it's like, yeah, there's more muscle here, but they haven't changed too much. Now, the legs, I think they gave him longer legs, but way too thick of a thigh and just too small of shins and not much of an ankle. They did make him much more mobile here, so he has the ability to run. He's got his tail off the ground. It's good to see. The tails, it's like they gave him less length slightly, but just added a bit more muscle. But they're still both pretty far off. Huh. And then we have our final image. So this looks like some statue. It's not a bad Allosaurus. I think the teeth are a bit too exposed. The tongue shouldn't be in the air. The horn's not bad. I think it should be maybe a bit further back. Um, could be something blocking his vision. A bit of a nostril. I don't see the ear though. Interesting. But his neck muscle and like the vein area, this all seems well in proportion with the skull structure. And then the overall body, even though we can't see the rest of this image, it looks good. I mean, he has a decent amount where the rib cage is not showing. That's really good to see for some reason, especially in different movies or shows lately. You tend to see it where the rib is being exposed on the predators. That would indicate that the animal is starving. So, this is good to see that they put on more flesh. And then let's see, the bomb skull structure. It's not too thin. It's well aligned. At least by what I can see here, he doesn't seem to have too many shoulders or deltoids, unless this is supposed to be it, which that would be a decent proportion. So, that is it. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guy Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.